Hello, hello. Oh, that's way too loud. Heck, sorry. Hello, hello. How's that? Hello, Moon. Hello, Kasha. Hello, Toot. We got Tick Toot and we've got You Toot, I believe. Tick Toot. Tick Toot. No, Twitch Toot. Twitch. Uh, okay. Still a bit loud. Let's see if that's a little bit better. I don't want to blow your ears out. Well, hello, Elizabeth. Welcome in. Welcome in. Every time I get excited and say hello, my volume spikes up. I guess I just can't get excited. Let's see if that's a little bit better. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm playing with my audio settings a little bit because it was picking up a lot of the background noise, and I realized that my audio settings were the problem. But hello, welcome. It is Monday Night Crafty Chat. Today is a very special Monday Night Crafty Chat. Let me just flip us over so you can see what I'm currently dealing with here. It's Monday Night Crafty Chat. Yeah, let me turn down the music. All right. There we go. Okay, I think I have found the balance. But welcome. It's Monday Night Crafty Chat. This is a very special Monday Night Crafty Chat because, as you know, we're not going to be seeing Toot for a while. They're going away. They will not be accessible. They won't be reachable. So we're just having a little bit of a going away party for them today. And of course, the reason that they are going to be inaccessible is that Stardew Valley 1.6 is coming out tomorrow. So goodbye, Toot. We will see you in a few weeks when you emerge from the valley again. We'll see you in a few weeks when you emerge from the valley again. So until then, we're just going to celebrate all things Toot tonight. We're going to be doing a little bit of crafting. There's going to be some kitty loves. There's going to be some tortoise loves. Bella would like some attention, please. One quick second, guys. Whoop. We're going to have a pretty big, like, not face reveal, but tummy reveal going on. Here, let's see if I rub her chest, will she let me just do a quick check on the thing I need to check on. Hello, my love. Yes, hello. Hello. Okay, all right, we are good. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. We got a pow bud on Critter Cam as well. I see that. I see that. Bella, could you move your tail, please? Thank you. Her tail was perfectly covering the one audio setting that I needed to adjust. Okay, so I mean, you know how that is. There's so much going on right now. Anyways, but welcome. It is a special Monday night crafty chat. We're having a going away party for Toot. We're doing some cross stitch. I don't usually do cross stitch on the Monday night crafty chat. Toot, if you could do me a favor and turn on Little Music Man. I forgot to turn him on before the stream. And my phone is occupado. Aha! Let there be light. Alright, so this is the piece that I am currently working on. I'm definitely back in my cross-stitch era. This happens every now and then. It kind of goes around cyclically. I'm never totally out of the cross-stitch era because Toot is always in their cross-stitch era. And I love looking at patterns on Etsy and stuff, but every now and then it just like it overwhelms me. And what happened this time is that Toot found an amazing, adorable pattern for a piece that I'm making for my best friend. And so I started doing that, and then that kind of like refired my love of cross stitch. And then I found this piece, which has actually been on my wish list for a really long time. I didn't set this up beforehand, but let me see if I can actually figure out how to show you guys what I'm working on. It's called Celtic Goddess. It's by Raven Stitchcraft on Etsy. Goddess Stitch. And I kind of picked it up on a whim because it was on sale. It's actually still on sale. I picked it up on a whim because it was on sale, and then I just kind of dove in. And I'm really glad that I did, because I didn't quite stop to think about how large of a piece it is, and it's actually going to be the largest piece I've ever done. It's almost full coverage. It is supposed to be full coverage. You can see that. So this block here is completed. I've done everything in there, and you can see that I've left the background kind of space Ada, as we call it, open in some points. So those are actually supposed to be cross-stitched in black, but I decided that I was going to do a gradient with the other colors. It's a monochromatic piece. A gradient with the other colors in browns, and then leave the black stitches unworked, so it has this like space quality to it. So it is supposed to be full coverage, but it's not. But it is going to be the biggest piece that I've ever done. So I'm really glad that I kind of started it willy-nilly without thinking about it too hard. Let me see. Let's see. Yes, Bella, that's the beautiful piece I'm talking about. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Will this appear? It will. It will appear small. There we go. All right. So this is the piece I'm working on. Ta-da, ta-da-ta-ta-ta-ta. It's beautiful. I love it. It's been on my list for so long. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do all of the Celtic knots at the very top. I might leave it as kind of like just a round top, so it's more of like a votive window type thing than a rectangular thing. I haven't quite decided yet, so I'm going to do that bit very last. So yeah, I love it. It's so pretty. It is so pretty. And Toot just threw up the link to the Etsy pattern. If you're interested, you can go check it out on Etsy. It is on sale right now. But yeah, so the pattern called for all shades of gray, but as you can see, I've done all shades of like this warm tone brown. So I pulled these out of stash. I am gonna have to get more because like this light color, the 3033, I'm gonna need like at least 2 more skeins of it. I'm almost through what we have in stock, and I've done, according to Pattern Keeper, 6%. So yeah, so I've been working through this. Like what you see here is about 1,500 stitches. So there's a lot to go. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys are grabbing a project. If you are working on something, let me know in chat for sure. Yeah, a pattern is big when you need more than 2 skeins of the same color. Well, there's only for the entire thing, there's only 5 colors. So, like, that adds to it, because if I was working with, 10 colors, that'd be fewer stitches of each color, but there's only 5 colors. So, Coffee Bob. We do love Coffee Bob. We adore Coffee Bob. Speaking of Coffee Bob, for all right. So before speaking of Coffee Bob, let's talk about the Etsy store because Toot just threw up the link to the link tree. Through that, you can find our Etsy storefront. I did want to talk shop for just a little bit. I'm not going to go into this a lot, but thanks, Nightbot. If you're on YouTube, Nightbot just threw up the same link again. But I do have an Etsy store. I design patterns for knitting, crochet, and cross stitch. And I have put up 3 new patterns in the store in the last couple of weeks. So if you want to go check those out, I would super appreciate it. Even if you just like the pattern and like the store to follow it, that helps our numbers a ton. You don't have to buy anything. But if you just like the stuff, that really helps. So the new patterns that I did are, let's see if I can show them to you on screen because, I'm a professional and such. All right, so these are the 3 new patterns. For cross stitch, we have Neon from Valorant in this adorable little pixel sprite. I am planning on adding many more Valorant agents. So if you play Valorant, or you know someone who plays Valorant who would appreciate a little handmade gift, there are more coming. You will be able to purchase a 5 stack of agents for a discounted price once I get 5 of them up. So I am going to be working on those in the coming weeks. They're smalls, so they work up really fast. She's about 1.5 inches tall, or 1.5 inches wide and about 2 inches tall. So she fits in a 3-inch hoop really nicely for a little gift ornament. And each pattern will come with 3 of the agent's voice lines charted out for you, so you can add them. Aw, Moon, that's awesome. Moon's going to be my very first test stitcher who isn't married to me. Unless they are. So I'm very excited about that series. If you don't know, Valorant is a video game. It's a first-person shooter game. I don't actually play it, but it's becoming one of my special interests because Moon, who is a big friend of the stream, is primarily a Valorant streamer and somehow makes this first-person shooty game super cozy, super welcoming, super wholesome. And I love watching her play it. She plays it 2 or 3 times a week. And I'm always there just hanging out and chilling. So I love watching Valorant and I'm really into the lore and stuff. So, and then the other cross stitch pattern we have is The Happiest Day. And this is from the video game series Five Nights at Freddy's. The Happiest Day is one of the lore mini games. It's a secret hidden mini game. I've recreated the entire stage for the mini game. The finished piece on 14 count Ada is 3 feet long by 6 inches high. It's completely lore accurate. Every single detail is as it should be. The color and placement of each balloon is appropriate. The masks on each child are exactly the colors and shapes they should be. It's all there. So if you are a FNAF fanatic, FNAF addict, that's a great little pattern. It's a great big pattern, and it would look really good worked up on some black Ada there. And then the third pattern, which I am super, super proud of. I've been working on this one for a while. It is a top-down ribbed watch cap style beanie. You can see 2 examples of it there. I'm so proud of this pattern because you can use any yarn, any gauge, any needles, and you don't have to swatch beforehand. You can just cast on and go. The pattern walks you through how to increase in pattern so that you get this really lovely, let's see if I can make this bigger. Showing off my love of marshmallow there. So you get this really lovely cross-shaped crown that has this beautiful pattern of increases here. Pattern walks you through all of that to make sure it's nice and even. It tells you how to measure your gauge so you get the size of hat you want. It comes in adult and child sizes. I love this pattern. I'm so happy that I got it out there. So yeah, if you knit or if you know someone who knits who wants like a really easy go-to pattern for gift knitting, because this is an all-over rib, it's great for someone who you aren't able to measure because it'll probably fit them no matter what. So yeah, it's just a great basic hat. It can work up in an afternoon depending on the yarn you're using. I wish I had the example here to show you guys in my physical hands. But unfortunately, that one went to one of my cousins down east. So, went to one of my cousins down east. So I don't have it with me anymore. Let me just catch up on chat real quick. Karen, I'm so glad you made it. Karen's been in my comments a couple of times on the videos. I super appreciate that. And said that they were going to try and make it live. Well, welcome everyone. Okay, so that's the shop stuff. I will probably pitch it again at some point during the day. But like I said, even if you just like the pattern, like the shop, it helps push my shop out to people who might not find it otherwise. And there are going to be so many more patterns coming up soon. Okay, I need to hydrate now because that was a lot of talking. Thank you for the hydrate, Moon. So as always, I have my emotional support Diet Pepsi with me, which is what I just had. I have my Cherry Frost Gatorade, and then I made myself a cup of tea. And I used my favorite mug. This is like legitimately my favorite mug. I'm trying to see if I can show it to you. And there we go, without spilling my tea. But it's also thematic for our going away party today because it's coffee from Stardew Valley. Yeah, it's my favorite mug. I've had it for a few years now. It's got a bunch of chips and stuff at the bottom. And if I ever break this, I'm going to be so sad until I can replace it. Toot got it for me ages ago. So, yeah. So I hope you guys are hydrating as well. Make sure you have something lovely to drink, maybe a snack. I've been live for 20 minutes. I haven't done I haven't even cut my floss for the next color. Might get Toot to take a picture of my setup before I break it down because I've got this clamp holding my cross stitch. That's one arm. I've got one arm holding the camera. Hello, camera. I've got one arm holding my boom mic. I've got Bella on my desk here, just out of frame. I'm Doc Ock, but I can't actually move without disturbing everything. Toot has Gatorade, root beer, peppermint vanilla tea, and cinnamon tea. Excellent, excellent. Oh no, I lost one of my needle minders is still in the bin. I need to find a better storage solution for my needle minders because right now they're on top of my this is not all of my floss. We have 3 of these boxes with our floss stash, and then each of us has our own box for our current projects. So this is just the floss for my current projects here. Or, well, my 2 current projects and then 2 that I'm going to start in the near future. Um, I used to keep mine on my cross stitch arm, but I found that they got knocked off. I don't know if I just like jiggle my cross stitch arm more than you do, but I was always flinging them around quite violently. So I need to figure out something. I was like, oh, I can attach them to my monitor, and I'm like, that sounds like a terrible idea. Kasha has hot chocolate and water. Ooh, hot chocolate sounds good. My tea is double bergamot Earl Grey. Peach tea. Hi, Binks. Binks has joined the party. I know, magnets and computer. My 90s butt could never. We were so terrified of magnets and computers in the 90s. Double burger moth. That's like Mothman, who's just having a Burger King craving. Double burger moth. So because I am a large fat man, I say that a lot. It's a reference to a Game Grumps episode. If you don't watch Game Grumps, I'm not just being incredibly self-deprecating. It's a pretty funny scene. I need to like get a clip of it so I can put it in a video so people just don't think I'm being mean to myself. But the way that I cross stitch often is I have the arm here, which is actually quite loose, but the bottom of it is actually braced against my stomach. I use my stomach as it's structural. It's actually braced against my stomach. So if I'm not using my cross stitch arm, I put my other hand here and just kind of hold it in place, but I don't have to like grip it because I'm not actually holding it up. I'm just keeping it steady, so I can just like rest my hand there, and it keeps my hand from feeling fatigued. So my usual cross stitch setup is a cat here. Use your bosom to rest the bottom of your frame. Yeah. It's our body parts are wonderful cross stitch structures at times. So my usual cross stitch setup is I have this on the frame. I use Pattern Keeper on my Kindle. I have a cat nearby at all times. I'm running into an issue. So I love Pattern Keeper. It makes everything so much easier. I would not try and accomplish this pattern without it. However, one of these colors, as you can see, I don't know how well you can see, but it read the symbol for the 420 in a bunch of different ways. So I don't know if you can see, but there's a bunch of 420 in this section, but it doesn't all highlight at the same time. So I'm kind of doing it like old school, but high tech old school, but also old school. And then usually my tablet is over here on the clamp that's currently holding the phone. My tea, thank you. My my coffee mug, or my pumpkin spice latte needle minder. Oh no, I didn't mean to go back. So of course I decided to do the most complicated and fiddly color while I'm on stream with you guys. However, in this section, there's a lot of black, which, like I said, I'm doing as I'm leaving blank. and just letting it be the background Ada. So although there looks like a lot of stitches that still need to go in this section, there's actually not that many. I'm also doing a loop start for this piece because there's going to be multiple threads and everything like that. And I was finding I don't know what the name of it is, but the start where you just kind of like stitch over your end it was making a lot of mess for me to deal with later, unfortunately. But that's my usual preferred method of stitching. Did I just do that wrong? Oh, I just hecked up. That's not where that stitch is supposed to go at all. Actually, is it? Is there a stitch there? No, of course there isn't. I was looking at the wrong part of the chart. I adore loop starts until I have to undo one. We did it, guys. Success. So this is my back. As you can see, I don't keep a neat back. It's a bit of a nightmare. But you can see the difference. So this kind of upper section here is where I was doing the stitch over your end, and then this section here is where I was doing loop start. So there is a definite difference. I don't know if that was like a oh my god or a terrified oh my god. I know a lot of people find a lot of joy in keeping really neat backs. That is it's just not part of the hobby that I find enjoyable. Yeah, the difference was astounding. Actually, I heard for the first time the other day. I think I was watching Cross Stitch the Globe on YouTube, talking about the Cross Stitch the Globe, or was it the one who started Whipco? Talking about they were doing back stitching instead of reverse running stitch or something like that. So it wasn't as reversible, and I'm like, is that really a thing that people worry about? Are people really worrying about having reversible stitching? Is that a thing I should be worried about? I mean, because clearly I am so with the trends. Yeah, like that would make sense for black work. Okay, yeah, that does make sense. It's funny because so I learned to cross stitch when I was a wee bab. I picked it up as a kid. the way that you pick up 400,000 crafts as a kid and then never touch them again. But Toot also learned how to cross stitch as a child and remembered how to do it better than I did. So when we both re-entered our cross stitching phase a few years ago, they retaught me how to cross stitch. And since then, like, I've just been cross stitching using the method that they learned as a child, which is, I'm sure, the method that the person that they learned from also learned as a child. And then we taught our friend Moon how to cross stitch, or at least got her into cross stitch. And then Moon, being Moon, went and started researching everything and finding floss tube and watching videos on it, and basically learned a lot more about cross stitch techniques than we knew. I was trying not to say you went full-tism, but basically learn more about cross stitch techniques and like the official names for them and things than we did. It was so funny for a little bit because she would be like, "Do you guys stitch English or Danish?" And we'd be like, "What? We stitch the right way." I don't know. You stitch the way that you stitch. It's the way that you cross stitch. That's the way you do it. Like, I had no idea there was so much variation in technique and everything like that. So this kind of second time around, so I got heavily into cross stitch a few years ago. And then I got heavily into cross stitch again years after that. And then it went away, and now I'm back into it. So this third time, I've started watching floss tube and things like that. I'm learning a whole bunch. I'm learning a whole bunch about different types of patterns and different types of stitchers and all kinds of stuff. It's entertaining. I'm learning that many cross stitchers have many, many whips on the go. Didn't realize that was a thing. Thank you for the hydrate, Moon. I almost said Toot. You're basically the same person. A slurp of tea, as Martin from 365 hit 365 says. Except when he says that he's actually drinking coffee, because he and his husband refer to coffee as tea. I don't know. Welsh thing? I don't know. Your son needed your attention. Speaking of other things that were popular in the 90s, like cross stitch and me. I don't know where that segue came from. Toot recently got a Gigapet. I'm going to be on Gigapet babysitting duty in the mornings. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I was ready for another child. If you're new to the streams, or new to my videos, Toot is my spouse as well as my mod. And we have 9 children. You've seen one of them already, Bella. Actually, you've seen 2 of them, Bella and Pal. We have 5 cats, 3 snakes, and a tortoise. And you'll probably see a couple of the cats today. The snakes won't make an appearance on screen. Last Monday, was it last Monday or last Wednesday? We did do a snake cam. That was a lot of fun. So you can check out the replay of that on the channel. Gosh, I was gonna ask. No, the baby Bigfoot is the one who needed the nap. I was also slightly confused about that earlier. Because Toot was like, my son needs a nap at 6:45. And I went, but we just napped together earlier. I'm dealing with a bit of a migraine. I think it's a weather-related migraine. So I went and had a little lay down earlier to try and rally for stream. I just wanted to hang out with you guys. So if it looks like I'm kind of randomly placing stitches, it's because I am. There are so many confetti stitches in this section. And because they're not all highlighted at the same time, I'm kind of doing them as I see them. And I'm vaguely working my way back and forth, but I'm like going up and down lines. It's quite chaotic at the moment. See, if I had been smart, I would have stopped over here and done this section here where it's just straight. I'm stitching on vibes. Yeah, just stitching on vibes. What a vibe. So I really wanted to use the Space Ada for this project, and it's a printed Ada that we got off of Amazon. It comes and it's like 11.8 by 17.5 inches, and the design is like 10 inches wide. So this is the edge of my fabric here. This is the edge of the stitching. This is the edge of the stitching, but I'm cutting it close. And this is dead center, both on the pattern and the fabric, so I should be fine on the other side. I might switch over and do the other side just to be sure. But yeah, I'm living on the edge a little bit here. Hi. Are you gonna... No, you're just gonna be an ominous shadow on the screen? Okay. So I have one cat here. I have one sitting on the chair immediately behind me, and then I just had one walk across my chest, realize there was one sitting behind me, and freak out and run away. The herb living on a prayer. Oh, living on the edge with my hand. I'll stitch it, I swear. One stitch closer to the edge. I'm about to break. I love that I said that an ad break started on Twitch at the exact second. It was amazing. Unintentional timing. So I am dual streaming on Twitch and YouTube. I've got bots running in both. So if you see kind of more bot messages than you see messages from people, it's because there's a lot going on. You should be seeing messages from both chat up on the screen, and I'm trying to keep up with both chats. But the YouTube one is a little bit newer, so it's a little bit more janky. So if something comes through on YouTube and I don't see it, I'm very, very sorry. I am trying to keep up. Okay, I think I have done all of the 420s in this square. I'm working with 420 right now, which is this lovely like hazelnut brown. I might throw up pictures in the Discord later, but I was kind of losing my mind a little bit, and I pulled out probably half of our floss collection trying to put together the color palette for this. I had this color palette which is like warm browns, and then I had another color palette that was like cool browns, and then I had one that was like warm green blues, and then like one that was like warm greens, and one that was like cool green blues. And I was trying them all on different fabrics and stuff. I really love this warm brown though. I'm really glad I went with it. So I think I've done all the 420 in this 10 by 10 block. So now I'm just moving over this way. Like I said, I use Pattern Keeper, which is a fantastic app for Android. You can also use it on your computer if you have an Android emulator like BlueStacks. But basically it highlights the whatever color you're on. It highlights all the stitches in that color so you can make sure you get them. And then you can mark them off as done. It shows you your progress. It's really fantastic. All of the patterns that I make, I do test them with Pattern Keeper. So they should be compatible with Pattern Keeper First Go. If you're ever stitching one of my patterns and it is not, please let me know ASAP so I can get that fixed. Because that's important to me. Because it makes the stitching experience so much easier and honestly so much more enjoyable. And also if you're like a numbers nerd, it's really nice seeing that progress tracker tick up. Because it tells you how many stitches you've done every day. It doesn't keep a running log. If I want to see how many stitches I've done every day historically, I need to like keep that in a different log. But it'll tell you how many stitches you've done that day, and then how many stitches you've done total out of everything that's in the project, and then a percentage, which is very, very satisfying. I know if it had a historic log, that would be amazing. But Moon, I know that you keep a log, a longhand log, which I absolutely love, and I might need to steal. For when I'm doing cross stitch, because it's just interesting data. I tried doing a daily log in Notion, doing how many stitches I did, and then like what I worked on in terms of knitting and crochet that day, and I just couldn't keep up with it. Maybe if I did it as a physical log, I might have more luck because I'm just an analog person at heart. An analog girly, you might say, gender neutral. But for this one, because I'm doing it in these chunks, so I'm not doing all of one color in the entire pattern. I'm not doing all of one color in the entire pattern. I'm doing it in, so this is a 40 by 40 block here, and then this is a 30 by 40 block here. So what I did was when I got to the end of that block, I also ticked off as done all of the black stitches so that my percentage tracker for the entire piece is going to be accurate, even though it's going to keep showing that I have 2,000 and some 20,000 black stitches to do. I don't, because I'm not going to do them. But if I keep ticking them off as I finish sections, then that'll keep me, that'll keep my progress tracker percentage-wise accurate, which I enjoy. I was hoping Story Stitcher would hop by the stream today. I know it's super late for her, so I'm not upset. But I'm gonna see if I can get her to post it in the server. She did a really cute Make 9 spread in her bullet journal, with like little Polaroid pictures of the stuff she wants to make. It's super precious. I'm a big creative bullet journaler type person as well, so I love tracking stuff longhand. I have a longhand crafting journal that I use. I keep all of my projects for all of my different crafts in there, and just keep notes on what I'm working on. Like for this one, I made a list of all the floss substitutions I made so that if I, for some reason, lost this version of my pattern keeper file, I would know what floss I was using for what color on the original chart. Keep notes on like what Ada I'm using, that kind of stuff. And I'm also, for this one, keeping track of the black stitches because I want to know how many actual stitches I've done as well as the percentage. So, yes. Because in my travels in FlossTube, I have discovered that other people enjoy gamifying their hobbies. You all know we have the Wheel of Whips here on the channel. So I discovered something called WhipGo, which is 110% up my alley. However, the WhipGo community, it's an official Facebook group, and then the YouTube channel, the person who ran it does like the announcements. So first of all, Facebook, not my vibe. Second of all, it's like almost entirely straight white Christian women, which is fine. It's just I forgot that those existed, and then I joined the group, and I was like, oh right. It's so funny because when you exist in almost entirely queer spaces for so long, you kind of forget that non-queer spaces exist, and then you go and join them. Like I'm doing right now with a lot of YouTube. I've gotten so many comments from so many people from so many different areas of YouTube and different types of people that I love it, but it's also like I never expected to reach those people. So it's been really lovely. But it's really funny because like I feel slightly uncomfortable because I'm like there are so many just women here. And I'm non-binary. So I never feel entirely comfortable in women-only spaces, and I know it's not meant to be a woman-only space. It just happens to be predominantly women. But I love seeing what other people are working on. It's so much fun. So this ominous shadow is Bella. I'm sure you'll see her in a moment. Bella? Bella. This is a drive-through, ma'am. You can't park here. Dun dun dun. Dramatic lighting. Okay. Lighting effects provided by Toot. And anyway, WhipGo. Gamifying your making. I love it. Actually, if you're interested in that as well, so it's the Jessie Makes Stuff channel. I don't know. I'll post links. If you Google WhipGo, like bingo, but with whip, you'll find all the information. And then another YouTube channel that I follow, Yarn and Yarns. Ange, she also does like a dice game. That helps her decide what she's going to work on every month. Thank you for the hydrate, too. Oh, goodness. I have one program that will not stop sending me notifications while I'm streaming. I bet. Okay. I bet. What was I saying? Somebody help. WhipGo. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Yes. So basically, at the beginning of the year, or at the end of previous year, you create a bingo board, 5x5, and you fill in every space except the middle space with one of your whips or a chunk of whips. So in my case, I did 1,500 stitches on each of 4 projects, 2 of which I haven't started yet, but I'm going to very soon. And then, so you make the bingo board at the end of December, beginning of January, and then the person who runs the group will call 2 numbers per month throughout the course of the year. So for March, for example, the numbers were 1 and 10. So you would work on whatever you had marked down in space number 1 and whatever you had marked down in space number 10. And when you finish those, you got to tick them off. And then when you get a bingo, you get a prize, basically. But like the prize is whatever you make of it. But basically, it's just a way to work on all of your whips or most of your whips or get progress on your whips if you have multiple ones or if you're not sure what you're going to work on or things like that. So I of course love this idea and jumped right in. I have lost the plot. Okay, that's that. Over here. Okay. So I of course jumped right in. I only found it a week ago. So I'm starting with March's calls, and then I'll catch up on January and February as I go. The game was designed for cross stitch, but you can use it for anything, basically. Like if you want to read a certain number of books, if you've got other craft projects that you want to do, like they encourage multiple boards going on. So I actually did up a board for knitting and for crochet. I've got a bunch of goals, as you know, for my Me Made wardrobe. but this is just a way for me to kind of lay hands on all of my different whips, and help me get to those goals with kind of an extrinsic motivation instead of an intrinsic motivation. And also it helps with a little bit of that executive dysfunction when you're not sure what to work on. Like, oh, I don't know what I want to work on next. I'm just feeling in a funk. It's like, okay, well, I have to get this done for my whip go call for the month. For example, the founder of WhipGo currently has 94 cross stitch works in progress. 94. I have 2. So she has one board specifically for full coverage and then different boards for different types of projects. So she would have, 6 or 8 different prompts that she would want to fill out during the month, whereas I have 4. I have 2 knitting and 2 cross stitch. And I actually finished both of the cross stitch for March already because I've been hyper focused on cross stitch. What on God's green earth have I done? And like I'm not a judgy person about the number of the number of whips anyone has, because I have a ton of knitting whips. I totally understand why people would have multiple knitting whips. I don't completely understand why someone would have that many cross stitch whips. Like the way my brain works is I need stimulation. I need different types of inputs. So with my knitting projects, that's why I have so many different things on the needles. I have like one that's plain stockinette, and I have one that's brioche, and I have one that's colorwork, and I have one that's 100% wool, and one that's 100% acrylic, and one that's a blend. And like, they're different techniques, different feels in my hands. But for me, cross stitch, it's all the same tactile feel because it's all cotton thread on Aida. But at the same time, I understand having, like, this is a full coverage piece. And another that I'm going to start, it's a small piece that's going to be easily finished. And it's got glow in the dark thread. So that's going to be a little bit different. So like, I understand having a few cross stitch whips that are different types, but I don't see how there would be 94 different types of things to have 94 different whips for me personally. But that's why I have multiple whips, is the different types of input thing. And especially because I never know what my brain's going to like in a given day. So I like to have several of them available. Like you've seen when I do the Wheel of Whips for knitting, I have 5 knitting projects within reach of this spot in my armchair. And that really helps me be able to please the brain bees, as we've dubbed them in one of my servers. Okay. All right, I think I have gotten every stitch of 420 that's in this 30 by 20 block. Oh, so this is my needle minder, by the way. It is from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It was an exclusive several years ago for the Jack's Halloween surprise. No, that's a lie. It is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, but it was just their like fall one. I have 2 more. The Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, they do like seasonal exclusives. So you can't get this one anymore. It was several years ago. I'm really glad that I picked it up when I did. It's super cute. It's this little pumpkin spice. As you know, pumpkin spice is half of my personality. All right. So now the fun part is trying to tick off everything that I did. So you'd highlight them like that and then hit the plus button and then they'd fill in and my count over here goes up. But for this color, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It thinks it's 8 different symbols when it's all the same symbol. So I have to do this 8 times. Now we move down to this 30 by 20 section. Why do I gotta count out loud? Well, there's 4 reasons to count every 3 days. I'm sorry to everyone that is ecked up. I just got attacked. Viciously attacked. I did deserve it. So we've been going for about an hour, which means it's time for everybody to get up and stretch. Stand up, stretch, stretch out your fingers, stretch out your arms, stretch out your legs, roll your neck. Oh, shake it out, stretch, stretch up, stretch out. Grab something to drink, maybe grab a little snack. Don't forget to hydrate. So yes, so I've done up myself. I've done myself up. I have created for myself a whip go board for my cross stitch and for my knitting. I'm thinking at the moment it's going to be more to make sure that I'm touching all of my knitting whips and finishing my cross stitch whips. And for the knitting, I have a couple projects on there more than once, so I didn't do like chunks because I don't know which number is going to be called. So I can't exactly say, finish the body if I haven't had the call for start the body yet. So when the number comes up, I'm going to decide on what is like a 2-week basic, because it's two numbers per month. So it's like, what is a good chunk of work to get done in 2 weeks? And I'll decide on that at the time. My calls for March are finishing my stripy sleeves pullover, which is so close to being done. And finishing the spring ice trigger mittens that we started together in chat a couple weeks ago. So I'm hoping that the hyper focus on cross stitch will let me go long enough to get some of that done, because I would really like to get those mittens done, and I'd really, really, really like to get that pullover done. But the closer I get to finishing the pullover, the less I want to work on them. Yes, they will be done before 2025. Thank you for that, Moon. They will be done by the end of the month. Or my name isn't ADHDH. I also don't know what this hand is doing. I always like lay this hand here. It's not supporting anything. It's not holding the fabric tight. It's just here. But it always is here. Why? Nobody knows. Where did they come from? Why were they here? What did they leave behind? So, Toot, in order to prepare me for, living without her for a few weeks, got downloaded all, or completely legally acquired all of Ancient Aliens for me. I am a happy conspiracy theorist enjoyer. I'm not a conspiracy theorist because I don't believe in it, but I do enjoy collecting knowledge about conspiracy theories. That doesn't make me a conspiracy theorist, right? Moon, you're the same way. I know, it's really interesting. And I really love ancient alien theories because it's about history and folklore, and looking at folklore in a almost an anthropological context, like drawing wildly incorrect conclusions from it, but it is a different way of looking at historical evidence, which I enjoy. And you do learn some weird random facts. And I mean, there's that one guy's hair, which is just, it gets more glorious as the seasons go on. Like the first couple of times, it's kind of like, okay, so he wasn't quite ready for this interview, and that's just the way he looked that day. And then he just starts leaning into it. Because it is interesting, because a lot of the information they're presenting, like about historical myth figures and different cool places that exist, the information is correct. It's just the conclusions that aren't. So you do learn about the ancient world despite yourself, or despite their best effort. Great. Well, it was interesting because I just started watching the first episode, which is actually, it's kind of a pilot. So it's more of an hour and a half documentary that they then decided, hey, we can make an entire show out of this. But they were interviewing Eric von Daniken, who is the author of Chariots of the Gods, which is the book that kind of started the whole ancient aliens theory community. And he was talking about what got his neurons firing to make those conclusions. And it was because when he was a child, he would have to translate the Bible from Greek into Latin and then from Latin into German, which is his first language. And so he was really doing an in-depth study of all of these really strange Old Testament stories and the language that they would use to describe the way that God communicated. And like Moses had to build a gate so that people wouldn't be injured by God's appearance and things like that. And he had this idea that like, well, why is that? Why the God that I believe in as a Catholic wouldn't require a security gate to protect my people, like that kind of thing. So that's what got him thinking, was like, the God I believe in wouldn't need safety precautions. So maybe it was aliens. So like, you can you're like, all right, you had me in the first half. And then they kind of lose it. They lose me in the second half. I hate having to start a new thread when you've got like 6 stitches left. And I know I could just leave it until I do the next section, but I want the blocks to be as complete as possible because they're so nice and neat the way that they are. Anyway, welcome back to my Ancient Aliens podcast. When something's a special interest and you don't realize it's a special interest until someone gets you to talk about it. And then you're like, oh yeah, right. And like cross stitches like that with me. And knitting as well. I feel like knitting is kind of my baseline special interest that I'm always interested in, and I always have a ream of knowledge about it. But cross stitch is one of the cyclical special interests that come and go. Because when I get into it, I get really into it. And then I like to learn all I can and join all of the forums and all of the groups and everything like that. Which I'm sure can be very annoying. Because it goes from, well, no, okay, that was not good. That was not kind self-speech. I'm not annoying. And the people who told me I was annoying in the past for sharing my joy are not good people. So I'm sure I may be occasionally overwhelming with information, but it's all joy. Enjoy that trickle-down therapy, guys. Sorry, Moon said something and I missed it. Oh goodness, oh goodness, oh goodness. Okay. Sorry I was bearing a thread, but I love that there was a cognitive dissonance there, and his very indoctrinated brain was like, aliens are the only explanation, right? Yeah. Like, he did start to question his faith, but he also didn't start to question his faith because I think he didn't want to question his faith. I think he wanted to follow the alien theory so that he wouldn't have to rethink what God is to him, which is, I guess, a good thing. If you want to think that deeply about your own spirituality and your own religion and your own theism, to really give it that kind of close scrutiny and decide that, yes, I do believe in a loving God. It's just hilarious that it resulted in ancient aliens. Anyway, I love cross stitch. Cross stitch is my primary hyperfixation these days. Like I said, I've already done both of my March calls, so in theory, I should set down the cross stitch, work on my knitting March calls, and then start working back on January and February, because the WIPGO is about balancing projects. But that's not going to happen. We know me. I am who I am. But at the same time, I'm trying to let myself ride those waves of interest and not judge myself for them, because, like, what's the point? I'm still making, I'm still creating, I'm being happy. None of my projects right now, except for one, is for someone else. And she knows who I am and what I am, and that she'll get it when she gets it. Not in like a mean way, but you know. That's just the way it is. And yes, filling a square is so satisfying. Especially on a big pattern like this. Like, I started off doing this section here, and it was like, okay, it's a lot of confetti. And then I kind of did like this section here, and then I like moved back from it. It was like, oh my god, it looks like a thing. Like, that's her neck and that's her hair, and you can really tell. It's so cool. And that's where I really get the having multiple whips thing, because a lot of the stuff that I design is very color blocky. It's very it's all right now fandom based, so like pixel art based. So it's very blocky, very literal. It doesn't have this kind of shading, this kind of like gradient tones to it. So I'm loving working on this piece. Because it's just so cool seeing it come together. Also, just a reminder, I think I've got to put them in the background, but there are a couple of chat-specific commands that you can use either on Twitch or on YouTube. If you want to know who is currently on CritterCam, you can do !critter. If you want to know what I am working on during Monday Night Crafty Chat, you can do !project. And if you want to play our acronym of the day game, you can do !AOTD, and you'll get today's acronym of the day, which is just where I put up a well-known acronym and we all try to come up with alternate meanings for it, which is something that Toot and I do a lot and then we roped Moon into doing it as well. Ah, you fell for my trap. Instead of an acronym today, tell me for Toot's going away party what Toot themed snack you would bring. And Moon would bring Uncrustables, yes, and sour candy. Yep. Well, I mean, Toot themed, what Toot would like. I will take either one. Uncrustables and sour candy is just what lives in the bed. I'm going to go silent for a moment while I focus. But please keep coming up with more Toot themed snacks. Buffalo Chimpkin, Chex Mix, smoothie without bananas. Amazing. Not just a root beer, a dirty root beer. Dirty root beer meaning with like cream and a little bit of vanilla syrup. Not alcoholic. Okay, I think I've done all the 420 here. Also, why is 420 brown and not green? Peppermint vanilla tea, chilled, very nice. Jelly turtles. Okay, I can bring some of those. I got we got some you pick candy off Amazon. And I got jelly turtles. They are amazing. Yes, at least 666 is red. I think Moon hit pretty much all of the Toot themed snacks that I would bring. Hi, Ricky. Welcome in. Toot is my spouse and my moderator. We're throwing a little going away party for them today because Stardew Valley 1.6 is coming out tomorrow. So I'm not going to see them for a couple of weeks, which is a joke. They live with me. So we're trying to think of like what snacks we would bring to a party for Toot. And also, welcome to the stream. I think pickles would be a good snack. Like a nice like charcuterie board would be what I would bring to the party, I think. I think that would be lovely. So I finished all the 420, so now I have to go through the process of finding all of the 420 stitches and taking them off. And because the pattern is so long, it takes like a couple of seconds for everything in the pattern to highlight. So I have to like click it and then wait. Oops. I missed one. It was hiding behind the check mark box. Okay, so the only two colors I have left in this section are the 869, which it also did the thing where it split into two different symbols, but it's just 2 instead of 8. Gosh, this is how are you today? A red velvet armadillo cake. And then the 3033. So the 3033, as you can see, it's the lightest. It's this almost cream color here. And that's the most stitches. So that's kind of why I'm doing it last. This is something different, Ricky. You don't usually hang out on floss. This is floss tube now. I've decided I'm a floss tuber. I don't know. Do I have to like get a certification for that or something? Before I get into my next color, which is 869, which I'm not going to fill the rest of that out because it's a PG-13 stream, but let me part the supplies here. I'm just going to show you guys the Whipco boards that I did. So these are my Whipco boards. Sorry for the shadow of the camera. So this is my cross stitch one. You can see that each block is 1,500 stitches. And there's four projects I want to work on. The goddess one, which is the most stitch wise. So basically I broke it down. So if I follow this and don't do any more than this per month, I will finish these 4 pieces over the course of the year. I've got the goddess piece, the Sora and Kairu piece for my best friend, a frog skeleton one that is so cute that I haven't actually, I've got it all kitted up, but I haven't actually started it yet. And then my spooktacular sampler, which is a Quaker style sampler that's like Halloween themed, that I've done just a few stitches on so far. Well, yeah, no, I'm glad you're here, Ricky. We're just a chill place to hang out. We're gonna go for another half hour or so. Grab something to drink. Whatever project you're working on, even if that project is relaxing and catching up on your TikToks, we are here to just hang out with you. So yeah, so I've only got 4 projects on here with 1,500 blocks each, and as you can see, I've already finished the 1,500 stitches on Kyrie, and I finished the 1,500 stitches on this piece, the goddess piece, earlier today actually. So I'm into like the next block of 1,500 stitches because, as you can see, it was also the call for February. So once I do those 1,500, I will be able to tick this square off for February. My knitting one, I haven't ticked anything off yet. Because, as we said, cross-stitch, hyper-focus. But for March, I have finished the stripy sleeves and finished spring ice. I put the other 5 pairs of mittens I wanted to make on here, and then I will try and make those within those 2 weeks. And then I have each of my other whips is on here at least once. Some of them are on here twice. For February, I have the Usagi pullover. I want to do 10 inches of the body on that, and then do 10 inches on the back of my citrine. And then working backwards again in January, I want to finish one of my streetwalker socks, if my hands will cooperate, and finish the Big Diamonds pair of mittens. So I'm starting with March, and then I'm working backwards. And I'll just kind of like catch up on those in between. So, but I'm hoping that'll keep me like at least motivated to do a little bit every now and then, because they're not huge goals. They're not huge weekly or monthly goals. You have a lot of time to finish them. like the 1500 stitches, I can do that in 3 or 4 days if I want. But I probably shouldn't. But if I haven't been cross stitching for a while, it reminds me to like pick it up and work on it. 8, 6, 9. Like I said, I am doing a loop start, except I always get these little bits. Oh, wow, midnight. Yes, go sleep. Go sleep. Thanks so much for joining. We're live Monday and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and there's a ton of videos on the channel for you to check out when you have time. Thanks so much for dropping by and hanging out for a little bit. I'm so glad. And for everyone else, never feel bad if you have to drop out a stream or you can't make a stream or whatever. Life happens. I am here to hang out with you. However, if you're watching this on the replay, then I hope that you're having a good evening or a good day or a good morning or whatever time of day it happens to be as you're watching this. I find crafting streams and co-working streams just a great way to get things done. There's someone in the background hanging out with you. Body doubling is a thing that I talk about a lot. And that's just the idea of having somebody else in the room with you while you're working on a task. And it's an ADHD autism strategy for getting stuff done. And yeah, I find that streams like this help me. So I'm very happy to do it with you guys. One of my favorite FNAF theorist creators has started doing co-working streams just while they're working on their like video editing and that kind of thing. And I love that. I don't know. I love co-working streams. They're so cozy and comfy. In a co-working stream, it's like this, except the person isn't crafting, they're working on something, and there's kind of less talking. And usually Pomodoro timers are involved. So the person doing the stream would set a timer for like 45 minutes, and we'd all hunker down and focus for 45 minutes and then take a 15-minute break, which is the Pomodoro method. Which is what we use around the house, actually, is we set timers, or like if we're watching a show, it's like, okay, we're going to watch one episode, and then it's time to get up and do my next round of tasks. Weird personal thing, I don't like... I've tried to move away from calling what I do around the house my chores, because that makes me feel like a child, that like somebody else is telling me to do things. I'm a grown but adult, and I live here too. It's my house. I should be taking the bulk of the work on. So I call them like tasks. And it's kind of silly because it's the same thing no matter whether I call it a chore or a task. But I much prefer calling them household tasks than chores. I recently switched over to Notion to do my daily task management, because someone gave me an amazing tip on how to set up like recurring tasks, which was one thing that Notion was really lacking, but I'm able to do it now. So that's really working for me. So if you guys are interested in a Notion tour in the future, let me know. I use Notion to keep my daily tasks in order, my Twitch and Etsy and YouTube tasks in order, my crafting. I do have my physical crafting log for my project notes, but stash and queue and patterns I keep in Notion. I also keep our medical information in Notion, but I won't be showing you guys that. The hospital system near us I actually have access to copies of my blood tests and my imaging reports and stuff like that. So I keep my own backup copy of most of that stuff, as well as like symptom trackers and, important phone numbers and stuff like that in my Notion. So I'm able to access it because it syncs between desktop and mobile. It's just really handy. So again, I'm working totally confetti stitches. I'm just trying to find every spot where there's one of these little angle brackets in my pattern. So WhipGo's been a really fun way to gamify my cross stitch. I've got my wheel of whips for when I need to make a decision on my knitting whips. Like I said, there's another creator, Ange from Yarn and Yarns, the Yarn and Yarns podcast, and she does some really fun stuff with losing my mind with a dice game. So she, like me, has many whips. I think she's got something like 24 or something going on. I'm at like 14 at the moment. So at the beginning of the month, she rolls a die. I think it's a D10 or a D20. And then pulls a card from the deck that's numbered in accordance to the D20. And then whatever that prompt is, she works on that. So sometimes it'll be like work on an old whip, cast on something new, work on something that's going to be a gift. She's got one fun one that is she's got about 2,000 followers on YouTube. 2,000 or 20,000. One of those two numbers. There's a 2 in it and then some zeros after it. But she'll have one of her community members actually choose a project for her, and she has to work on that month. And it could be a project that she has already started. It could be a project from her queue that she needs to start. It could literally be anything that person wants. So I think that's a really cute idea. I use gamifying tasks. It's another ADHD coping strategy, basically. So I use gamifying tasks a lot for myself. But I also can't do anything that really has consequences, because as soon as there's consequences, I just don't want to do it. So it has to be flexible enough for me. Like with WhipGo, it's like, this is what I want to get done. If I don't get it done in the course of the month, nothing really happens. I just don't get to tick off that box, and then I might not get a bingo as fast. That kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what am I going to work on? Well, bingo says I should work on these things. So let me work on these things. I don't know why, but this particular thread, I've had to re-thread my needle like 4 or 5 times. The slippery thread keeps sliding away. I feel like I need to have like background music for when I do this, like hyper focus engaged, and then like really like pump in rock music or something, because that's what my brain feels like, even though it's like super slow and deliberate and really calming on screen. I actually did find a playlist of royalty-free rock songs. It says rock songs. It's a variety of genres of rock, but there were quite a few like emo and alt rock songs on there, and I was like, oh, this would be fun to do for a stream sometime. But like my whole vibe is lo-fi. So maybe if we're doing like a timed round thing, I'll do, 45 minutes of lo-fi while we focus, and then 15 minutes of rock while we're up and bouncing around. Okay, I think this thread is just getting too short for me to use comfortably. It's time to bury it. No, don't slide off again. Thank you. You can really see on the back how like haphazard this confetti stitching has been. There's just threads going everywhere. And again, I think I'm starting a new thread for like 12 stitches maybe. So annoying. It's going to be so satisfying to do the 3033, the light tan, and just see it all come to life. Which is kind of why I left the light tan for the last. For that exact magical transformation moment. Like I said, I've been watching a little bit more FlossTube. I never really got into FlossTube the last go round. I don't know if it was so much a thing a few years ago. But there's some really interesting stitchers. Lots of I like the ones that are like sisters who stitch. I found a great one that is called the Runner Stitcher, and it's a man who lives in New York. Relatively new stitcher, but does a good mix of pieces, like some stuff from Etsy, and then like also does mirabilias and things like that. So a couple different genres. He's a cutie. I like watching him. So we are able to loop start this thread. Let's just hope I did it in the right spot this time and I don't need to redo it. Oh god, where did I just stitch? Okay, there it is. Hi. Hello. If you guys have any recommendations for floss tubers that you like to watch, or just any kind of crafting content in general, I'd love to hear it. I'm always looking for new stuff to watch. I had to stop watching a couple people today. It was a little bit heartbreaking. But you know, just didn't vibe with them anymore, which happens occasionally. What have I done? That was the wrong stitch. And as always, if you have any suggestions for me for stuff you'd like me to check out, you can always drop them in the Discord. Discord is where we spend most of our time when we're not here on stream. It's a lovely community of like-minded people. We talk about crafting and gaming and cats and fun animal facts. And Toot posts some daily sunshine every day that always comes specifically for you, even if you weren't asking for it. It's just a good time. It's also where you're going to find the most up-to-date information about streams if I need to reschedule something for health reasons or whatever. The Discord is where we announce that. Stream schedule is always there. And yeah, Discord, it's a good place to be. You can also interact with me in the comments on my YouTube videos. I do have to catch up on the comments from the Cozy Cast too. For some reason, YouTube wasn't showing them to me. I was like, why don't I have any comments? And then I don't know, something refreshed or cleared, and all of a sudden there were like 14 comments that I didn't see before. So I need to get to those. But that's so much fun too. That's been a really nice thing about not moving over to YouTube. I've had a YouTube presence before, it just hasn't been very large. But that's been a really nice thing about coming to YouTube, is this new community that I've been finding, and how really lovely and supportive people are. Like, I know it's kind of a meme among gaming YouTubers to talk about not listening to the comments or getting hate in the comments, but honestly, the only thing close to that I've gotten is someone saying they didn't like snakes. And, you know, that's cool. That's valid. But, you know, if that's the most hateful comment I've gotten so far, I'll take it. I think I'm almost done with this color. So I managed to get through 2 colors during stream, which isn't bad. Knitting, I can usually get a lot more done during stream because I don't need to look at it quite as much. I don't need to think about it quite as much. However, usually with knitting, I'm sitting at more of a forward angle, so it's a little bit more uncomfortable. Cross stitch, I tend to get less done, but I'm pretty happy with my progress this evening. I mean, I did like a good 60 stitches already, and then I'm sure I've done quite a few more here. I just need to actually pick them all. Like Moon said, cross stitch is such a satisfying hobby if you really like filling in little squares. I always say the same as mining in a straight line in Minecraft. It just twigs something in your brain the same way. You're just still working on the same color. Your entire piece is the same color. You're going to be working on the same color for a couple of weeks. It's just so good. It make brain do good things. Make brain happy. Especially like when you find the perfect setup and just kind of like right now I'm so comfortable. I've got my hands just where I want them. I'm not having to move my shoulder a whole lot. I've got my pattern where I can see it nice and comfortably. It's too bad I'm going to have to get up in a minute or two. Right. Every time I look at my pattern, I'm finding another stitch that I need to do. Oh no. And then one up here. Then I think I need to do one all the way back up here. But I think that might be it. Nope, that was a lie. There's another one down here. Okay. Okay, that's it. This is the last one. Okay. So there we go. There's 2 more colors put in. I mean, you can't super tell the difference. I am taking pictures of this every day that I work on it, so you'll be able to see like a day-by-day transformation as it fills in. Doing the same thing on the Sora and Kyrie piece. I am trying to do project vlogs for the YouTube channel. So I'm hoping that's a thing that's going to work out. We'll see. I was trying to get my first project vlog up this week. I don't think it's going to happen. But I don't think there's going to be a YouTube video this week. However, next Wednesday, the next episode of the Cozy Cast 3 will go live. Cozy Cast episode 2 went live last Wednesday. It's done very well. I'm very happy with it. And yeah, just I'm so happy with the response I've gotten on YouTube so far. It's been amazing. It's been so much fun. So Toot is going to throw up a bunch of links. We're going to get the stream wrapped up here. I'm going to leave it there. Toot is going to throw up a bunch of links, all the places you can find me. If you're watching this on Twitch, you can also find me on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also find me on Twitch. Pick your favorite platform and hang out there. I am an affiliate on Twitch, so if you do want to support the stream, you can become a subscriber on Twitch. That gives me a little bit of extra money every week. Otherwise, you can buy one of our Etsy patterns, or you can hit us up on Coffee if you just want to support the stream a little bit. We are working towards getting our hours in on YouTube so that we can monetize that as well. Awesome. But in general, just you guys being here is the best gift you could possibly give me. It's so good. I can't tell you what it means to me to have this little community. I love you all, and I'm so happy that you're here. So come check us out in the Discord. If you're on Twitch, go check out the YouTube because I do have more videos up there, as well as all of the VODs are going to be available on that channel. Both of us, you can, both Twitch and YouTube, head on over to TikTok. I've been posting pretty frequently over there. There's quite a few cute little videos there. A mix of cats and crafting and a little bit of video games. Just like me, cats and crafting and a little bit of video games and a little bit of reptiles. So thank you everybody for joining us. Everybody say goodbye to Toot. Wish them good luck on their voyage into the valley. We will see them when they emerge. All right. So I think we're going to wrap that up. So if you are on Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. We are going to end the YouTube stream. Goodbye, YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been lovely. Until next time, I will see you in the Discord. I will see you on Twitch. I'll see you on TikTok. And as always, I will see you in my heart. All right. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.